Hi everybody, Marco Carbajo here from businesscreditblogger.com. Today's video we're going to talk about vendor credit. Specifically, we're going to talk about the top 5 vendors that build business credit for your startup and or existing business. If you're looking for the top 5 vendors that will extend lines of credit to your business without a personal credit check, this is the video for you, so let's get started. Now, first and foremost, when we talk about building business credit, I want you to understand that these are vendors that report to the business credit reporting agencies. There's plenty of suppliers and vendors out there and retailers that extend credit to businesses, but many of them do not report. In fact, there's over 500,000 vendors, suppliers, etc. that are extending credit, but less than 10,000 actually report your payment history to a business credit reporting agency. So the purpose of this video is to share with you the top 5 vendors that report. They report to business credit agencies like Dun & Bradstreet, Experian Commercial, etc. So let's first talk about what exactly is vendor credit. There's many different terms in our industry, and being that whether you're brand new to the business, you're starting a business from scratch, or you're an existing business owner, you'll hear terms like trade credit, vendor credit, supplier credit, net 30 accounts, etc. So vendor credit is just another term that's used where it's basically when a company or a supplier, etc. Extends a line of credit to another business, a business customer. Okay. Also, a vendor credit can be when a business extends credit to a consumer. But for purposes here, when it comes to building business credit, we're talking about companies that extend credit to another business, which would be you, being that you're a business owner. So typically what you hear when it comes to vendor credit, this is short-term financing that these vendors will extend to a business like yourself. These net terms are net 30 terms, net 60-day terms, net 90-day terms. That's typically the financing terms, which basically means you can buy products and services from that particular vendor that you have credit with on credits. They give you a line of credit, and you can purchase those products and services up to your credit limit, and they give you a time frame, a repayment period to pay your invoice in full. Typically it's 30 days, some go 60 or even 90 days. So as you build that relationship up with that supplier or that vendor, they may even extend longer credit terms to you, but typically it's 30 days. Now, the other thing to realize when you get a vendor credit line, especially if you're a startup, you may get a line of credit for $500 or $1,000 or even $2,000 that you can use to buy products that your company may need, and you can use that and defer payments for that 30 or 60 days and grow your business and turn a profit and then pay your invoice. So that's what's really beneficial for getting this type of credit. Just if you want some more details on our particular company, all the products and services we offer, our business credit building system, be sure to check out businesscreditbuilders.org. That's businesscreditbuilders with an S.org. Now, why should you use vendor credit? What's the purpose of it? Well, there's many different benefits for you as a business owner. It's first of all, you have the ability to buy products and services your business may need to grow, expand, or service customers, and you defer the payment for 30 days or more. So this allows you to conserve your cash flow. So let's say you have a particular event coming up that you have lots of potential customers you have to entertain. You have to buy a whole bunch of products, let's say materials for that event, even food for that event. Well, you can buy that on credit, have your event, and let's say you're selling your product or service at that event, and you do a presentation, people buy your products and services, etc. You get revenue coming in, and in 30 days you can pay your invoice for the materials you bought to host that event. So that's just a really general example, but that's a really creative way that you could use vendor credit. So this helps you conserve cash flow. The other thing this allows you to do is establish references for your business. If you look at many credit applications, whether it's a line of credit with a supplier or a vendor, or even many credit applications for loans, etc., they ask for trade references on the credit application for the business. So when you have a relationship with a vendor, they've issued credit to you, you could use that vendor as a trade reference on your credit applications that you fill out as a company. The other thing this does is this helps protect your personal credit. So rather than using your own personal credit cards, if you want to buy products from a vendor or a supplier that you need to buy the materials, or rather than using your cash, this allows you to protect your personal credit by having a line of credit with a vendor, and it's issued to your business under its EIN number, so there's no personal credit check, and many times there's no PG at all. And that's what's another benefit of vendor credit. So this protects you from impacting your personal when you have a short-term debt on your books for the business. And this also limits your liability as a business. So when you're not supplying a PG, obviously that completely separates you from your purchases for your business. Also, what's unique of getting vendor credit is many vendors will offer you discounts if you pay your invoice early. So although they give you net 30-day terms, let's say you pay it off in 10 days or 20 days, then many times they offer you a percentage discount when you do that. This also gives you a stepping stone to greater financing opportunities as a business. And what does that mean? Basically what it means is when you start establishing vendor credit, you have credit lines with different vendors and suppliers, etc., and you're using that credit, you're paying your invoices on time, they're reporting that information to the business credit bureaus, you're building up your business credit report, so now your vendor accounts, your trade lines are showing up on your report, you have a business credit rating. What does that mean? So now you have a report card for your business. Basically, you have a business credit report. So when your business wants to apply for additional funding or wants to apply for more traditional funding, a bank, a lender, a supplier, or even an investor, they now can pull your business credit report from an agency like Dun & Bradstreet or Experian Commercial, and they can now see how your business pays its financial obligations, what type of credit the business has, how much credit the business has, the debt the business has. So that just, you could see, rather than always relying on your personal credit, now you're going to have a business credit file, and that's why it's important to use vendor credit. That's why it's important to have it. So I always tell people, even if you go through our business credit card funding program where we get you business credit cards that report to the business credit bureaus, it's also equally important to build diversity in your business credit report. That's why you want to have some vendor credit. You want to build up your trade lines with vendors as well, because that shows that your business can handle a revolving credit if you go through our business credit card program, but also on the report it'll show that your business can manage its short-term financing, like your net 30s, your net 60 days account. So that's why you want to have diversity. If you look at your personal credit report, what's important? You want to have, let's say, a mortgage looks good, auto loan, installment loan, credit cards, etc. That's your diversity of credit on your personal report. On the business side, you also want to build that type of diversity. Ultimately, why use vendor credit? It builds your business credit reports and your credit ratings. Okay, so why build business credit? If this is your first time watching one of our videos and you're thinking about getting vendor credit, the most important thing to realize is when you structure your business as whether you're a corporation or a limited liability company, that entity structure has the ability now to enter into contracts as an entity, not as an individual, because now it's separate. It's treated as a separate legal entity. You get an employer identification number issued to your company, and basically that EIN is used for tax purposes. That's how the IRS tracks your business. That's how you file tax returns for your company. But more importantly is that EIN number is also required on credit applications when your business applies for credit. And they use that EIN number as a identification number when they want to pull your business credit report. So look at your EIN as kind of like the social security number for your business. Because what happens is business credit bureaus link your EIN to your company. They create a business credit report. And that's one of the ways that other lenders and retailers, etc., can pull your company report, is they use the EIN. They use that to create your credit file for your company. Now, who offers vendor credit? What type of vendor credit can I get? And remember, think about vendor credit. We're talking about also supplier-based credit, retail credit. These are retailers, etc. But there's many types of companies and businesses out there that extend vendor credit to whether you're a startup and or existing business, restaurants, accounts, bookkeepers. You can see all the list here of all the different types of vendor credit you can get. Now, what do you need if you want to start applying for vendor credit? We're going to get into the top 5 vendors that are, I would have to say, the easiest type of vendor credit that you can get as a business. That's why we're showcasing them in this particular video. But the first thing is you have to be incorporated. You have to have a corporation or a limited liability company, because this is, once you get that EIN number for that entity, then that's how it's going to create your credit file. Okay, so but also if you're an existing company, you first want to check with your state, look up where you incorporated your business, make sure your company is in good standing. If most states require an annual filing fee that you have to pay to keep your company in good standing with your state. So check that first. That's very important. And I talked about your EIN number. You have to also have your general business and contact information. So make sure you have that information in a document, so when you fill out credit apps for your business, all that information remains consistent. You don't want to have different variations in your business name. So if you use ABC Company, Inc., use that on all credit apps when you open your business account, etc. Make sure everything's consistent. Don't fill out a credit app one time and say ABC Company, where on another credit app you put ABC Company, LLC or something like that. You always want it to be consistent. Keep that information the same. You want to have your contact information, who is the contact person, the business phone number, business email address, business bank account, where do you have your business bank account. So these are basic things that you should have already established. Now, there's many other things that are important to have in place. We cover that in our business credit building system when you start applying for even more types of vendor credit lines. But this is kind of the basic things you need to have before you can think about applying for vendor credit. Now, important tip, once you get a credit line from a vendor, this is the most important thing that's not really discussed on too many information out there when they're talking about building business credit. And this is something I want to focus on because it's so important. Most people think, okay, if I get a vendor account, I make one purchase, great, I built a trade line, I'm done. Okay, and I only need to do a couple of that, and now I have all this great credit history or credit accounts on my business report. I have, let's say, 5 or 6 vendor accounts reporting. I should be able to get a loan or a line of credit or a business credit card based just on a report. It doesn't work that way, folks. You have to build history. You have to build depth. You have to build purchase activity. Those are all things that build up a report. Okay, so the more data that's on your business credit report for any type of credit issuer to see your history, that's how you become more credit worthy. It's just not having a whole bunch of vendors accounts on your business report. So purchase activity is important. When you apply for credit with a vendor, with one of the vendors we have here, it's important that you use the products, you buy them for your business, and these should be products and services that you use to grow your business and turn a profit. Your payment status, are you paying on time? Your payment behavior, do you pay within terms or do you pay better than terms? So if a vendor extends net 30 credit terms to you, you know that you have to pay that invoice within 30 days. But what's important is if you pay that invoice better than terms, let's say you pay every invoice in 10 days. Well, do you know that gets shared now, that gets reported to your business report? Now, for example, Dun & Bradstreet has a Paydex system, and most people shoot for an 80 Paydex score, which basically means you pay all your invoices within terms. You pay it on the due date. But you can actually have a better Dun & Bradstreet credit rating. You can get a 90 or even 100 Paydex score when you're paying better than terms. So, and D&B has a scale on that if you pay 10 days ahead of terms, 20 days, etc. So it's always best to pay at least, I'd say if you have a 30-day account, I always tell people to pay it in 10 days if you have a net 30 account. Because it looks so much stronger on your business report if you can do that. Your high credit limit, the size of your vendor credit lines are very important as well. So if you get a $500 credit line with a vendor and you use it on a regular basis, don't be afraid after a couple purchases, let's say 3 months or 6 months, to contact that vendor. You have a great payment relationship and request a credit limit increase. Request an extension on your credit terms if you want. But it's important to increase your credit limits with your vendor credit accounts, because the higher the credit limits you have reporting, it shows that you're more credit worthy. It just looks good on your business report when other potential credit issuers are checking your business credit report. Your balance owing, this is another thing, is what's your highest balance? Do you max out your credit lines with your vendors, or do you keep a good utilization? Now, one thing that gets asked quite a bit is, how is your utilization on your credit accounts compared to on your personal? Obviously, you hear everyone talk about keep your credit utilization on your personal credit cards under 50%, 30%, 10% is ideal, under 10%. But on the business side, it doesn't have a much weight on your business credit score. Each of the business credit reporting agencies has different types of credit scoring systems. Paydex you have with Dun & Bradstreet, and Telescore you have with Experian Commercial, the small business risk score you have with Equifax, etc. So they have various types of credit scores, scoring systems. But your utilization on like your vendor accounts, you don't want to obviously be overextended and maxed out on your overall credit limits. It doesn't hurt you if you owe 60%, no. But your overall debt is something that does impact you. Your length of payment history is another important factor that you got to remember with vendor credit. So remember, just because you have a vendor credit line and you've had it for a month or 2 months or 3 months, there's no payment history. I mean, it takes time to build up that payment history. So you want to check out the video we did on how to add up to 2 years of payment history by adding your utility accounts, because that's one way. If you've had utility accounts for your company for several months or even years, you can add that and build up instant history. So check out that video. That's another way to add history on your business credit report. Now, let's talk about finally the top 5 vendors that build your business credit. First of all, the number one we're going to talk about this vendor credit account is Strategic Network Solutions. This is a company that provides computer and information technology products. Really straight to the point. I'm not going to get into, as far as more detail. You can check out the website and check out the services they offer, etc. But to cut to the chase, there's the website, stntsol.com. Make sure you use this code SNSSBC so you can get your $2,000 net 30 account. Okay, so this does require you to make an initial purchase of $60. Okay, but you'll receive a $2,000 net 30 account, and they report your credit to Experian Commercial and Credit Safe. So these are 2 business credit reporting agencies. Now, most people say, well, I want to build my Dun & Bradstreet report. That's all I want to build. One thing to realize is Dun & Bradstreet, there's 3 major business credit reporting agencies, but there's many other business credit reporting agencies that are used by a wide variety of lenders and banks and suppliers, etc. The 3 main ones, though, is Dun & Bradstreet, Experian Commercial, and Equifax Small Business. Now, Dun & Bradstreet, just so you know, is mainly used by suppliers, vendors, retailers, etc. When they want to pull your credit, they want to check the credit of a company, they pull from D&B. Whereas when you're applying for, let's say, a business credit card or a loan or a line of credit, most banks will pull from Experian Commercial and Equifax Small Business. So that's why it's essential for you to build your business credit report with all 3 major business credit reporting agencies, because that covers your bases. If a bank or a lender or a credit issuer a credit grantor you're applying for credit with pulls from, let's say, Experian Commercial, let's say you have a really strong Dun & Bradstreet report, but you have a 0 Experian Commercial report, and let's say that particular credit grantor pulls from Experian Commercial and you have no credit file there, guess what? To them, you have no credit. Yes, they're going to ask for trade references, but if you tell them, well, I have a Dun & Bradstreet report, but let's say they don't pull from D&B, let's say they don't subscribe to D&B. That's why it's important to have all 3 business credit bureaus, and we cover that in our business credit building system, which is at businesscreditbuilders.org. We show you how to build all 3 bureaus. Now, let's talk about vendor credit account number 2, Summa Office Supplies. This offers all types of office-related products. If you can't find the products and services your business needs with this particular vendor, then I don't know what kind of business you're running, because they have everything that you could think of even pens. I mean, every business needs pens. But there's their websites, SummaOfficeSupplies.com. Again, if you want to get a $2,000 net 30 account, make sure you use the coupon code SNSSBC. This also requires a $60 initial purchase. Now, is that worth it? You spend $60 for products your business needs, and then you get a $2,000 credit line that reports to Dun & Bradstreet. That's a great trade-off, folks. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. So this becomes a trade line now, reporting your Dun & Bradstreet report. So for those of you who, let's say you purchased your DUNS number, or you applied for a free DUNS number, remember, just because you have a Dun & Bradstreet number doesn't mean you have a credit file. You have an empty credit file. So you have to add trade lines to your Dun & Bradstreet report. So until you have at least 3 trade lines reporting with Dun & Bradstreet, you have no credit score for your business. Once you have 3 reporting trade lines, then you generate a business credit score. They call it the Paydex score. Okay? And as long as those 3 trade lines, you have good payment history, like they're on time, you have now an 80 Paydex score, which basically means you pay with the 3 trade lines you have, you pay on terms. Okay? So this is one net 30 account you can get with Dun & Bradstreet with a $2,000 credit limit. And what's really great is once you start building up your credit, and let's say you've built up 7, 8, or 9 trade lines reporting to your Dun & Bradstreet report, and you have, let's say, 6 months of history, let's just say, you can contact Summa Office Supplies. Let's say you already have an account with them, but guess what? You can request a re-review, and they can offer $5,000 to $50,000 in increase in credit limit with your net 30 account if you have established business credit. Okay, so that's another really beneficial thing. Okay, now let's talk about vendor credit account number 3, which is Quill. This is a real popular vendor credit account. You probably hear it all over the place about one of the vendors to get credit with to build your business credit. They provide office supplies, cleaning supplies, paper, ink, and toner products. Go to net30account.com to get set up with Quill. Basically, you may need to make an initial purchase with this particular vendor as well. But they issue $500 to $1,000 net 30 account, and they also report to Dun & Bradstreet. So when you get signed up with Quill, make sure at the checkout you select Invoice My Account, and that's where you can be considered for a net 30 account. Some people reported to us that they had to make an initial purchase to get a net 30 account, but this is a great vendor credit account that you can get for your business. It's kind of like a great starter account, let's call it. Actually, all of these vendors are what I call starter vendors because you're almost guaranteed an approval with each one of these. Okay, so let's talk about number 4, which is Uline. This is another real popular vendor credit account that you can get. They basically have a 780-page catalog with all their materials on there. So there's no reason for you not to be able to find some products and services that your business will need you can use to grow your company or to obviously for operational, etc. But Uline.com, they do require you to have a bank reference. Basically, you need to have a bank account set up, which we already covered earlier. A trade reference, so if you've already opened up, let's say, a Summa account or a strategic account, or you opened up a Quill account, then you've already have at least that trade reference you can use when you open up your Uline account. They also offer a $500 to $1,000 net 30 account. They also report to Dun & Bradstreet. Once you log into Uline, you basically select the net terms. You request the credit terms, and they'll review you for a net 30 account. Some people have also expressed to us that you may have to make a purchase with this one. But this is another great starter account. If you're a startup and or existing business, this will be your 4th trade line that you can have reporting on your business credit report. The 5th one is another popular vendor credit account, is Grainger Industrial Supply. They provide everything hardware, tools, cleaning supplies, appliances, etc. They do require, if your business does require a business license, they're going to want to see it. So make sure you have have that license on hand because they may require you to furnish that document. They do require you to have a DUNS number, so if you don't have your DUNS number, make sure you open that one up. Bank reference, receive $500,000 net 30 account. They also report to Dun & Bradstreet. So keep in mind, what we just share with you is a couple of these vendor credit accounts we're talking about report to Dun & Bradstreet. So you should easily be able to create a Paydex score. And what happens? What's next when you create a Paydex score? What do you do now? Well, now you can start moving up to another level in getting credit for your business with specific companies and suppliers and vendors that do check your business credit report. They do pull your Dun & Bradstreet report. They do require you to have at least an 80 paydex score. But that opens you up. With those particular types of vendor credit accounts, you couldn't qualify for it if you don't have a DMB file established, or you don't have a paydex score established yet. So this is going to get you to that point where you can now move up what I call to level 2 credit tiers of vendors. So this is where it starts getting exciting for you. Okay, so we just share with you 5 vendors that you can get credit with. Now, what's next? Now, remember, 5 trade lines is you're just getting started. You want to get to the point where you have, I would say, 15 or 20 trade lines reporting on your business credit report. That's when you start having a very diverse credit file. You have lots of trade lines reporting. You probably have 2 or 3 $10,000 limit lines at least minimum. But that's where you want to start exploring additional vendors that you can get for credit with. Also ways to add more trade lines like your utility accounts, business credit cards, etc. So for that, check out businesscreditbuilders.org. That's our entire business credit building system wrapped in an online platform. You get a user ID and password. You can log in through any device and go through our entire platform. We provide all the credit sources there for you, which business credit bureau they report to, what it takes to qualify, which ones require a paydex score, which ones don't. So I just gave you the start right now. You got 5 vendors you can get. That's 5 trade lines for your business credit report. But you remember, you have to build your Experian. You have to build your Equifax. And you have to build 15 to 20 trade lines. So to do that, check out businesscreditbuilders.org. That's our step-by-step business credit building system. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Click the subscribe button. That way you're going to be notified every time we come out with a new video on business credit and funding. So whether you're a startup, existing business, or real estate investor, we're sharing with you everything you need to know to maximize your funding potential while at the same time protecting your personal credit and building your business credit worthiness for your company. Make it a great day. We'll talk to you real soon.